Hello, everybody, and welcome to People in the Boxes, episode 132. We are going to get this show started here shortly. We're going to play about a 4 minute and 20 seconds of a little intro video and song, and we'll be right back. We're going to get some time to hit the like button and share it out. If you could help us out with that, I do appreciate it. If you are catching this, you might be seeing the replay. If you're watching the replay right now, check out the show. Tell us what you think in the comments, and we'll get back to you. Let's go. Let's talk about it. Current events tonight on People in the Boxes. It is actually, real quick, it's February 20th, 2025, in case you're watching this some other time. So let's go.
Cozy room where the lights are dim sits Waylon the farmer with a heart full of whim. He's not tilling fields or sowing seeds, but planting thoughts, fulfilling needs. People in the Boxes, that's the name of the show, where voices unite, let their stories flow. From all walks of life, they come to share their hopes, their dreams, their daily fare. With headphones on and mic in hand, Waylon invites listeners from across the land. He says, come on in, don't be shy. Let's talk about life, let's give it a try. People in the Boxes, dogmies unfold. In this podcast, hearts are bold, breaking down walls with every word. In Waylon's world, everyone's heard. Everyone's heard. From the city slicker to the country lass, every episode a new class, discussing love, work, and everything in between. Waylon's voice, the perfect scene. He cultivates thoughts like crops and rows. His podcast a garden where wisdom grows. No matter the topic, big or small, Waylon's there connecting us all. So tune into People in the Boxes tonight, where every voice shines and every story's right. With Waylon the farmer, indoors we might be, but through this podcast we're all free. This song for Waylon, for bringing us together in a world where we all seek to connect forever. People in the Boxes, tune in, you'll find a community where every voice is intertwined. If you cultivate thoughts like crops and rows, every episode a new class, discussing love, work, and every word. In Waylon's world, everyone's heard. From the city slicker to the country lass, every episode a new class, discussing love, work, and everything in between. Waylon's voice, the perfect scene. From the city slicker to the country lass, every episode a new class, discussing love, work, and everything in between. Waylon's voice, the perfect scene. He cultivates thoughts like crops and rows. His podcast a garden where wisdom grows. No matter the topic, big or small, Waylon's there connecting us all. So tune in to People in the Boxes tonight, where every voice shines and every story's right. With Waylon the farmer, indoors we might be, but through this podcast we're all free. This song for Waylon, for bringing us together in a world where we all seek to connect forever. With Waylon the Boxes, tune in, you'll find a community where every voice is intertwined.
All right, everybody. Hello, hello. Bring it in. Let's get it going. It's Thursday night again, February 20th, 2025. It is People in the Boxes. I actually forgot to change the banner. I'm going to do that real quick. Yeah, People in the Boxes, episode 132. It is Thursday once again, and we usually do about the third week of the month. We do a current events episode where we kind of catch up with one another. We talk about what's happening in our lives, but also we kind of look abroad and see what kind of stories are trending, if you will, out there in the interwebs. So we're going to get into that. We're also going to do another spin for my subscribers, of course, a little bit later. And we challenge y'all to get us to the door prize if we can get up to 25 live viewers or 50 likes on the video on the Facebook side. We will do a door prize. We would give a door prize away, but no big deal either way. We're going to have a great show and we're going to learn something. You know, I learned something every night this week and it's been great. Every show I've done, it's been like, oh wow, I had no idea, and then just, you know, been something like a eureka moment each time. But we do have Kim with us. Kim, hello, hello.
Hey,
It's
what's
just
going
me and
on?
you right now, I guess. Sorry to cut you off there. Oh, Kitty cut you off, and right after I did. There you go.
That would be Phineas. He's showing his
I need
butt.
to get my. I'm not raising my hand, teacher. I promise. I just needed my camera. There we go. So uh, I see you. You're almost through another week. You know, you ready for the weekend, Kim?
Yeah, it's been uh since January. Life has
Sheena
been like super fast paced,
Allen
and my weekends are my
Rose
solace.
Amy. Yeah, I could see that being the case, especially as a teacher.
Yeah.
You got to be like a kind of. It's a little bit reminds me of a like a drill sergeant, because no, not necessarily that you have to be so badass, but you have to be. You probably have to feel like you're meant to look, you know, perfect, or to the kids like you're supposed to look like you don't ever make a mistake and whatnot. Red Six in the house. Red Six is going to be with us here in a little while. He said he's watching the, what is it, America versus Canada hockey finals or something. Is it a hockey match? One of those hockey matches? I'm not sure what you call it, Red Six. Let me know in the comments. You might not be able to hear me actually. He said he's kind of in a loud spot, so might not be able to hear me.
Is he at a live game?
I think it's just at a bar, and
Oh,
like a sports bar or something. So it just depends.
thanks,
Um,
Sheena.
yeah, definitely. You know, prayers for Kim and your family. And I got to say this too, guys. DC Sweets. He's been on the show a few times now. Him and his wife were on the show, and uh, DC is not doing so well. I do not know many details, but he did come on and tell us about how he um, woke up in the face down in a ditch, or they found him outside. You know, he didn't know how he got there and stuff. That was the last time we talked to him, and then I just talked. You know, I told his wife that I was gonna you know, tell everybody that he's in the hospital again. I don't know many other details, but she said it's not doing so well. As far as I know, that's so. Yeah, everybody definitely. You know, talk to your loved ones. You know, to do what you got to do to feel like you've spent some time. You know, and I feel like we all have that problem where we can't take the time. You got ear pods in, okay? What's up, Red Six? So we'll do, but you didn't answer the question. What's the who's the game? It's so it's hockey's
USA
considered
versus
a game.
Canada.
Okay. Four Nations Face Off Hockey Championship. Okay. Hello, Kayla. Three Buds Production. Hello, hello. Jess, what's up, Jess on the
Kayla.
X? But yeah, you know, it's a reminder, you know, and I
Hey,
think
Gerald.
there's a time where we kind of forget, we get complacent. So these reminders help us kind of straighten our priorities back out a little bit, right? You know, kind of makes you retake take inventory of your priorities. Um, what's up, Al? What's up, Rose? Bring it in, guys. Set some tags and shares, and let's blow it up. Let's have a good night. We're going to be looking into some different things. I like to just kind of peruse the headlines. I did some stuff last night. We looked into some things with the cannabis world. There's some interesting things happening. A little bit of a battle over in Pennsylvania over legalizing cannabis. Red Six says game one is tired, 1-1 or 1-1. Holy cow! My current event input. Oh, I see. That's your. Oh, that's the only thing.
The best hockey I ever watched was when I was a little kid. The U.S. hockey team back in the 70s when they beat Russia. Like, I'm not a hockey person. It's not part of a tradition here in New Mexico because we don't get any snow here, or not down here anyway. It's
Still
not
make an indoor rink. What do you mean? There's no hockey rink there?
I think they have one. They have at the county
Skating rink.
coliseum in El Paso. They'll freeze it
Okay.
over for like the ice capades or certain things periodically. But it's just really expensive here because it's so hot and dry. It's really expensive to operate a skating rink. So I think
Yeah.
they may have a hockey team in Albuquerque. Albuquerque's a little different. There's a lot of it's an affluent community up in Albuquerque. There's a lot
Every
of
time
money.
you say Albuquerque, the only thing I could think of is Bugs Bunny.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, yeah, I think you turn left at Albuquerque.
But I've always like watched sports. I used to be I played tennis for many, many years when I was a kid. And so I was just I like sports. I've always watched sports and I've always watched the Olympics. And so this was in the mid 70s. I want to say the Olympics was on and I was watching it, the Summer Olympics. And wait, was it this? I don't know. Couldn't have been the Summer Olympics. But anyway, it was the Olympics. And it was just crazy because the United States was doing so well with hockey and then they ended up beating Russia. They beat everybody and they beat Russia and they were not favored to beat Russia, but they did. And it was amazing watching that. Like, I'm not a hockey watcher, it just isn't my thing really. And it moves so fast and it's hard to figure out what's going on sometimes. It's kind of like basketball. But that was the best those were the best hockey games I've ever watched. It was kind of like watching Michael Jordan. I love to watch Michael Jordan. I don't like basketball, but I like to watch Michael Jordan play because he was just so good. Tiger Woods. I don't like watching golf, but when Tiger Woods used to play, I'd watch him. Like, I'd be flipping through the channels on the weekend.
For sure. It's like when a name rises up above the bubble that's just the niche of that thing, whether it's sports or whatever it is. Like, I know who Ariana Grande is, but I don't even know. I can't even tell you a song that she sings. It's just that something about that notoriety that puts you into people's faces, even if they're not in that world. And with hockey, like, we have a local hockey team, I guess, the Rivermen club, maybe, I don't know, but it's the Rivermen, and they're not a I don't even know the A's. I'm not a sports guy. AAA, AA. AAA is the professionals.
I don't
Double
know.
A. Anyway, we're not going to talk about sports tonight. Sorry, guys. Red Six will come up and give us a. That was during the Cold War. What, Red Six?
Yeah, it was during the Cold War. It was back in the 70s. The Cold War didn't end until like 1989, 1990 time frame. I was still serving in the military when the Cold War was going on. That's why I don't trust the Russians. I never have and I never will.
Thanks, Jeff. Were you talking about my table? I have one current thing happening with me is one of my two plants, Red Six. You may not be happy to hear it, but the permanent rainbow is just dying on me. Just like just drooped over and just lost all will to live. There's really like literally nothing I can think of to help it, like transplant it, but I don't think that's even.
You need to figure out if you can dry the soil out. I bet you it doesn't handle.
I've been
Doesn't
taking gloves and roughing the soil up to try to help dry it out faster, but I'll do that some more. I actually brought a humidifier down here because I don't think humidity in this room is very high, and so. But anyway, the other plant just is loving life. It's crazy. Jeff said yes. Well, no, Jeff. I'm not sure what your yes is for, but the table. Yeah, there's a long delay. Sorry, man. How much you watering it? Not very much, to be honest. Like the getting as much water as a plant next to it. Like I literally water like once a week. Like she likes less water. Well, I watered a little more when I thought it was drooping because it needed a little water. So, but it was already happening. So I'm not really sure what to do next.
You might want to invest in like just a cheapy little water meter, because sometimes it's hard to tell what's going on with the soil that's down deeper where the roots are at. And given it's a clone, it doesn't have a taproot. So, it's going to.
What's that going to do for it?
Well, it just doesn't have a taproot. So I would think that it probably affects how it uptakes water anyway.
Yeah, I'm sure the root ball forms differently. I think it probably, I don't know which way would be thicker. I was almost going to say without a taproot maybe thicker because the other roots have to make up for it, but I'm not sure. What's up, Timothy? Amy, I was watching the other night. It looked like too much water. Yeah, that's what I'm guessing. I mean, that's really the only thing it can be, since the soil just seems to stay wet for a long time. I mean, I guess I can scoop some of that soil out, let it dry in a separate bucket and then put it back in or something. I'm not sure.
What are your temps down there too? Because sometimes when plants get too cold,
it's a little bit chilly down here.
Water and they'll drown. So you got to be careful with that too.
I thought about getting it up off the floor. I mean, it's on a drip pan and all that, but I'm thinking about getting it up off the floor a little bit more than that.
Brenda's asking me how the new house is. So I don't know. I don't know what you've last seen, but I moved in October, and the house flooded in December. Flooded like 5 times, but the last time is when I really caught on that it was actually flooding. And so they came in, they fixed where the tub was not connected to the drain, which was causing it to flood, and found a whole host of other problems. So I'm living like I just moved in. There's stuff everywhere. It's driving me crazy. And it probably won't be completely fixed until I go on spring break mid-March, so another month.
Is that what it is? I never know when spring break is.
Well, it kind of varies, I think, for people, different districts and different places. But yeah, so it probably won't get fixed then. They're supposed to come tomorrow, the concrete contractors, and start working on like digging out where the concrete's going to be laid. So I'm really excited for that. And I'm going to ask the guys when they're here to dig. I bought 9 12-foot 4x4s. And the 4x4s are going to be used for my shade structures because I have a really hot backyard. Like the sun is intense in my backyard. My house faces east and the backyard faces west. So I get sun all day long and it's very, very hot. and I don't have any kind of vegetation around me to cool it down or anything like that. I mean, I've planted trees, but it's going to be time before they get big enough to provide shade or anything. So in order for me to garden this year, I need shade structures. So I'm going to plant 9 4x4s, 8 feet apart, 10 feet long, 2 rows. And so I can put my shade structures up. I'm going to use tomato shade. And
I'm
I
thinking of
went,
like a netting.
yeah, well, it's kind of like a netting. They're tomato shade. Have you ever seen what tomato shades look like?
What's up, Benjamin? I am not sure. I'll have to look it up. Let's check it out.
Yeah, they're kind of loosely woven material, and depending on how loosely woven it is, depends on how much shade, how much light it lets through. So these ones are for tomatoes, because tomatoes, when they get too hot in the summertime, will quit producing.
The first thing that came up, Kim, is like these jugs of liquid tomato shade.
What the hell is that?
Tomato shade food coloring.
Okay, no. Put up shade cloth
Let me
for
pull this up.
tomatoes.
My God, let's pull this up. Holy cow! What happened to the comments? Oh whoa, that was weird. I lost all the comments for a second. Then they came back. I only had Rumble comments sitting there. Now I'd like to figure out how to do that.
But in addition to that, so like last weekend I went and I have a car, so I don't have a truck, so I can't just load my truck up with building supplies and stuff. I can fit, a good amount of stuff back there, but I can't. So I went and I got some 2x12s, 8-foot 2x12s, and I started putting them together to make. I've made one so far. One, yeah, it's not that stuff. It's cloth. Put in shade cloth. I started making my raised garden beds. So, but anyway, when they come tomorrow to do the dirt work in yeah, that's tomato shade cloth. When they come tomorrow to do the dirt work for the concrete, I'm going to ask them to dig post holes and maybe move some dirt around in my backyard for me so that I can raise those posts.
So, JGL.
Yes, I put in some thujas, but the ones that I got are they're called Thin Man, I think. They only get 18 inches in diameter. Okay. I didn't want my yard to be taken up by big fat trees. It's one of the reasons why I didn't go with Italian cypress, because they'll get 3 to 4 feet wide. And I don't want anything that wide taking up my gardening space. But I did plant 2 red buds. I planted a plum tree. I planted 2 pistachio trees. I've planted 11 thujas. I have 2 other trees right now to plant. One of them is an apricot tree and a desert willow tree. I'm not sure where I'm going to plant those. Oh, and a pecan. I have a pecan sapling.
Ooh.
But
there's a bunch of awesome trees that you can eat things from that we wouldn't think about. But yeah, that's a good one, pecan tree.
Oh, and I also bought pyracantha vines.
Come on up, Milk. Come on up. Come on up. Anybody that wants to come up, I did finally get the link, the pinned. Not to cut you off, Kim, but yeah, come on up and tell us what's going on with you. We're going to look into some headlines here in a minute.
I bought some pyracantha. Do you know what pyracantha are?
Sounds like a fire.
Well, when you get scratched by them, it's like fire. Mm-hmm. So they're these vining shrubs, and they have thorns on them. They get little red berries, and animals will eat the berries. But they get thorns on them, and if you get scratched by the thorns, it like it'll raise a welt, and it stings. It hurts. That's why they call them pyracantha. And I bought them because on the back side of my wall, and on this side over here side of the wall, there's I don't have any neighbors, and so I want to deter people from climbing my wall and coming into my yard. And I think they will not like being scratched up by those pirate cantha because they hurt like a mother trucker.
Mm. Mother
So
truckers.
yeah, I
Yeah,
trimmed one time, and it was like, oh, it was they're miserable to get scratched up by.
Lisa May says the little dwarf trees seem like they'd be awesome to grow. What does awesome to grow like be like? Kind of fun to grow.
Yeah, so
I
I'm excited, man. I've got like all kinds of plans. I want to plant some pine trees too, but I'm going to hold off on planting any more trees right now because I need to get the concrete poured. They're going to pour concrete for the patio, and they're going to pour a 10 by 12 or 14 for the shed that I want to build back there. I want to get that poured because visually I need to see what space. I'm going to put some grass back there. I may plant some pine trees between where the grass ends and the gardening area starts. There's going to be a patch of dirt that I leave back there for all of that. And I may just plant some pine trees, a couple of pine trees. I really love pine trees. I love when they blow through the wind. I love that sound, and I love the smell. So,
yeah, but the pine needles can be a pain in the ass.
yeah, but they're really good for mulching, man. They're so good for your soil, and my soil quality is so crappy here that I don't mind. But just about everything that I'm planting is purposeful. So, or it serves multiple purposes. Like the pyracantha will, they'll be attractive, vining, whatever, and they'll hopefully keep people out, and they grow these berries on them that animals will eat. So it's food source for birds and whatnot. And then I've got the ornamental plum tree that I planted, and that I don't think they plum every year, but it's another food source for wildlife. And then I've got the pistachio trees, and you have to have a male and a female to be able to fruit them. So anyway, so I've got them back there.
It's play them a little bit Barry White. You get a little couple candles, set it up. All right, let's see. What should I pull up first? Look at some headlines on the Post Millennial. They're usually pretty good. I was looking at X, and I gotta be honest, I'm not seeing any like major trending stories right now, except for a lot of people are talking about the Captain America movie that is coming out. It's got a lot of blowback because the main actor is not okay. So the main actor is black. Captain America is normally a white guy, and they made this whole storyline to where the Falcon, which is a black guy with wings, takes over the Captain America title, and so then he's got wings and a shield and stuff, and so a lot of people are upset about that in the first place, but that's not actually the main reason what people are upset about with the movie that's coming out right now. I think it's in theaters now. There's the Red Hulk in this movie, not the White Hulk. We got the White Hulk on people in the boxes, but the Red Hulk is in this movie. And the thing that people are outraged about is that what's his name, Anthony Mackie, that's playing the Captain America, Captain Falcon, or whatever you want to call him. And he did an interview where he said, "Well, I don't think Captain America represents America. He represents these values, this, and this." Everyone's like, "What?" Like, of course he represents America. So there's been like a bunch of backlash on that. I've been seeing that a lot on X. Um, you know, there's some things happening with, you know, uh, there's always something happen with politics, but nothing that I can. I mean, the plane crashes have
That's
been a
crazy.
little insane. That we may look into that. The one crash that everybody was throwing around and saying, "Oh, look, Trump, 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 this and that," was actually in Canada, and it really had nothing to do with anything that we did. But people are looking at any plane crashes now, and like they're just using them as like bargaining chips in the political game. I think there's a lot of them all happening at once, and it seems very fishy to me. Just that's on my opinion. My opinion is that it's a little suspect. It's a little sus. Um, I don't see why. I don't see. Let me put it this way: I could fully see a scenario where there are people doing this on purpose in order to put the brakes on all of the change that's happening so quickly. Whether you like the change or don't like the change, the people that have been there for a long time already, the unelected people in the government, they are
They're not
fighting
going
back.
anywhere. Those unelected people aren't going anywhere. The people that are going anywhere are people that have either transferred, so they're under 2 years in their current job. So if you've been a federal employee for, say, 18 or 17 years, and you transfer to a new job in the government somewhere, those
Different
people are getting
position.
laid off. But by and large, the majority of people that are being laid off right now have under 2 years. They're on probationary.
Well,
So
that's not what I mean.
in my
Go ahead.
opinion, it's all a dog and pony show. And
Yeah,
it's
so that's not what I mean. Now, what I'm saying is whether or not people are being fired or not, that's all stuff that can be temporary. Anybody can be brought back lickety split if enough enough how do I put this, resistance has been pushed by the people who are still there. There's still going to be millions of people that are in the that are career bureaucrats in the government. And all I'm saying is that I can foresee the scenario where my personal vision of this scenario is that a lot of these could be being caused on purpose in order to point the finger and make it look like, look, he's killing people, and it's like it's all the fault of the people that are out there just trying to
I disagree with you on that, because that plane crash in Arizona, they don't even have an air traffic control tower. It's like kind of like an honor system of pay
wow,
attention to
that's
what
crazy.
you're, yeah. It's kind of
Okay.
like an honor system of, you need to watch out where you're flying so you don't run into anybody out there, kind of a thing.
Okay. Well, then the people that are reporting these things are for sure making them lean into a political pool
Well,
of
people are always going to do
fodder.
that. People are always going to make it a political thing. They're going to twist it, they're going to spin it, whatever.
That's
You
I'm
know,
just saying that's what I'm seeing a lot of stories where people look why did like
well, that's why you have to dig around. You can't just take things for face value. You have to dig into it, because here's the thing about news. What sells news? It's sensationalism. And I cannot tell you how many times that
see
I've
this is see
been
Rose
flipping
is saying
through.
the talking point right here. This is the White House fired people, so that's why the planes are coming down. But you just said at least one situation where that's not the case. Like air traffic controller is not the case in a place that doesn't have a tower.
Yes, that's one instance. I don't know what happened with the whole thing in Toronto. I was watching the video footage that they were showing on TV with it, and it looked like the front end of that plane slammed down when it landed. It busted the landing gear off. and it caused it to like skid out of control. And then you can
It
see
sounds
it
like
kind
a cyber attack to me. It sounds like someone changing the landing gear to make it look like they are at a different height, and you just trick. All you got to do is trick the landing gear enough to
I
make
don't
it so
think
it's
so. I
a few
think it
feet
was
off.
weather conditions. They were talking about the winds were gusting really hard, and I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what the NTSB comes back with. You know, I don't know that we're going to know anything on it anytime
Good
soon,
stuff.
but I don't think there's a conspiracy against it. I just think that there's like a lot of, you know, because if you look at a lot of this stuff, you know, like the one with the military helicopter that killed all those people, it's looking like it was at the fault, that there was some stuff going on with that helicopter was up too high, and there may have been some problems with its whatever system it is that tells them how high they're at or whatever kind of a thing. That and and they're thinking that there was confusion on where the plane was at, the position of the aircraft, that the pilots of the helicopter didn't understand or know, or something
They
related
had it
to
wrong
they
somehow.
were at in position to that aircraft. I just, you know, here's the deal. Here's
There's so
where
many.
what the problem with air traffic control, the air traffic control system is. We have not had, and this has been a problem for a long time. I've paid attention to this because my mom's brother used to be an air traffic controller during World War II. So it's just like one of those things that pay attention to the most random shit, I swear. But it's, you know, because it'll just catch my interest for some reason. But air traffic controllers it's been a problem for a very, very long time. It's an extremely high stress job. Like the burnout rate for those guys is really super high. Suicide rates are really, really high in that profession. There's just a lot of ugly things that go on behind the scenes with air traffic controllers. And, you know, there aren't enough people coming into those jobs, and it's really stressed out the system. And I honestly think in a lot of these instances, you know, you couple that with maintenance kinds of issues, you know, and my personal opinion is on a lot of stuff is that there are a lot of people out there in the workforce that do shitty work. We don't have that pride of ownership of our labor anymore. People just go into whatever, and they're lazy and they're complacent, and they want to draw a paycheck, and they do the minimal amount, and, you know, whatever, you know. And I personally feel like maybe that's part of it, you know, that, you know, it's just like, remember the issue with the planes, that the doors were like being blown off, the Boeing jets, Boeing aircraft.
Was that recently? I'm not
Yeah,
sure.
it's been several months ago, but they recalled all those planes, they grounded them, and they did an
Yeah.
investigation on them, and it found out something about the bolts that
Okay.
hold the planes.
I remember
And,
now. Yeah.
and I just feel like people just don't care as much as they used to. You know, my dad's generation, my brother, who's a lot older than me, his generation, you know, they were steady people that cared. You know, they went to work and they did their job, and they took pride in that ownership. And I just don't feel like, I feel like there's a lot more people that just don't give a shit anymore.
Well, I think you're onto something about this being a much longer term issue. This here, I actually don't know. Okay, it does go back up here. Obtained internal footage of senior officials at the FAA's Flight Program Operations Division, which is responsible for all aspects of aircraft operation, workshopping a plan to reduce the numbers of white males in aviation. So this is an issue when you let the need to have a different gender or skin color in there over the need of competent workers. That's a problem when you don't prioritize.
Oh wow.
Hey, we got my man Gilo in the house. What's up, Gilo? um
Hey,
if you don't
Gilo.
prioritize merit or being good at your job, then you will get some of this. Now he lays it out like hardcore here. I don't know if we want to go through all of this, but the footage of these officials behind the scenes basically saying some nasty things. She complains that flight operations is white male dominated, tells the managers they need to talk about what the future could look like. I mean, I don't know, would it just look like planes that stay in the sky and land safely? Like that's, I think, the only two things they need to be worried about, honestly. In my opinion. In response, David Wilriggins, the FAA's vice president to flight programs operations, says that's great. Honestly, those are some words that we really need to spend some time digging through and thinking about. And it goes on and on. But this was from April 2022. I mean, like, so there's been a lot of changes happening in our flight. But that's why this is so weird that it's happening. Like all of a sudden, there's a bunch of actual fatalities.
Well, and
I
just wait, it's going to trickle, it trickles into all kinds of stuff because, doctors and nurses and, there's just this real lackadaisical thing with work ethic. And it's scary because as a teacher, I just left high school and I'm in middle school now, but just seeing these kids that are graduating now and their lack of work ethic, like they don't care to do the work. They just want to get their credit so they can get on with their life. And they're not getting the basic fundamentals of education. They're just like skating through. And
Yeah.
those are character habits that follow you everywhere.
Well, I think also technology has taken a lot of stuff away from manually having to do things for kids. And obviously the classic example will be the calculator, but there's so many things now that kids will never have to deal with because of technology, unless we have major problems. But Gilo, what's up, man? Give us some current events in your life if you want to. We can kind of pull it away from the, I hate to say politics. I mean, this is not politics. We're talking about planes that are people's lives and the balance, but it is basically politics. So let's pull it back a little bit and see what's going on. And you look kind of cold in the car over there. I've been seeing all your snow driving videos.
It's warming up, but yeah, I had to jump in because I agree with Kim talking about the workforce and just and I'm not getting political about it, but I do agree with it. But I also do. I really believe that in this world, let's just talk about the United States, that for us to deny that there's good people out there and there's also bad people out there.
Right.
Yeah.
If you believe that, then you have to believe that there are evil people out there that are, trying to orchestrate things.
Capable of, at least, right?
It's just, yeah, it's ironic, right? The first time Trump got into office, you remember what happened in Las Vegas? That was such a weirdish thing. How many people died in that shooting?
The guy was
I'm not
just
saying
let
it's
through. Big duffel bag full of weapons, just no questions. Like it just.
Well, the thing is, and there's a lot of studies that have been done. I was talking with my family today at the funeral. We were talking about like Y2K and just some of the thing like 2012 and just things, and there are these periodically there are these frenzied, there are things like that pop up, like in Nostradamus's time and just if you look at it historically, there's periods of time where people just kind
unrest,
of they just they freaking come unhinged and like they get on a bandwagon about some shit, like cataclysmic kind of shit, and it just destabilizes people. And I just feel like we've had a whole series of things like that the last 25 years. You know, it started with
At least,
Y2K.
yeah.
We've had a ton of pandemics. We've had, well, not a ton, but we've had quite a few pandemics. We had, you know, we were talking today about the pandemics, you know, like the SARS pandemic and stuff like that. But, you know, that was a precursor. The precursor to all of that was the biological warfare threats that were happening during President George W.'s time in office, you know, and then we had, you know, 9/11 happen. So there's been a lot of crazy shit, and people don't handle that well. You know, people get freaked out, they get scared, you know, and it just causes a lot of stuff in societies. It's not just American societies, it's all the societies. It destabilizes, you know, all civilization.
Well, let me play into that a little bit and say I don't disagree, but I was going to say something, but you know, don't you think there's some entities that would still do nefarious things or whatever, a little bit like what Gila was saying, but instead, let me go along the same get back here. Let me go along the same thought process and say any group of people that's sufficiently connected, which would be, you know, a gang, a team, an office building of workers, whatever, that's so connected, they may have situations where they sort of go through a, I don't know, lack of a better term, a crazy moment, a moment of sort of unraveling, right? Who's to say that entities in the government don't do that as well, where they get paranoid, they think the public is all enemy, like they start to think, look at us as enemies. They're starting to, you know, I think there's a lot of paranoia in the government for personally, like inside and outside, both from both directions. Like, you know, like what are they doing? I don't know, but what are they doing? Like we're feeling the same way they're feeling, except they're behind the cameras being able to see us on our phones without us knowing, and all these other crazy, you know,
So
known
I'll
things.
put the two. I'll put the two together. How about that? I will say that I agree with that in the area of there are people out there that are they have like one thread left. Like that. That's it. They
Right.
literally. But I also do believe that there is that 1% of our 5% in the government or in wealth that they have bad intentions. They have a lust for power and authority and riches, and I think there are people out there that are trying to pull the strings, so to speak. And I think that's why, and without getting political about it, nobody can deny that this last election cycle proved that they were doing everything within their power to not let them get back in there. And I don't care about Trump. I don't care about the office or party, but it shows that when it comes to power and authority, I feel like sometimes people think, like my wife is talking about weather, okay, like weather modification, right? And so the discussion my wife and I had the other day was, okay, maybe they can alter the weather a little bit, but they can't control. Like, to say that you can control weather is a very dangerous statement, to think that you can actually control the weather of the planet. I think sometimes when it comes to government and world events, I do think that there are people that think, we've got a bunch of crazy people. Maybe let's try to orchestrate chaos for a minute. And I think
Oh
there are
yeah.
people. I think there are those people that think that they can control the chaos. And then I think this, for me, it's my opinion, they proved that they couldn't control the chaos this last 4, 5, 6 years, that they can't really control it. They can move it around a little bit, but they can't control. I don't know about these aircraft. It's just it's so suspect, right? With all these things happening right now. And I
Mm-hmm.
think it's that Roman circus that we talked about before, that, the Roman circus. You ever seen that video where the guy talks about the Roman circus? How the people of
Yep.
power, right? They get us all focused on that while they're doing other things in the background that we're not paying attention
Oh
to.
yeah.
So I believe that as well, so
Yeah. I
It's
think that
really,
you know, people that are attracted to power are often sociopaths,
yeah.
and that's a fact.
I'm a firm believer that, from my theology, like we're not beings that are created to receive praises. That's why we don't do well when we get praised, and when we achieve accolades and all this wealth, and we don't do well typically. That's just not in our nature. And I think when it comes to what we're talking about, some people get hungry for it, and it's unhealthy lust for the power and wealth and whatever,
Yep.
right? And they think that they can control it all, but they really can't. And it is interesting. So I hope nothing else happens crazy, but it seems like every time someone gets into power and authority that they don't like, just weird things start happening, whether it's organically done or artificially done, right? So yeah,
I don't
there's a
know.
huge rabbit hole.
I've seen this coming for a long time. I've seen this kind of thing coming for a long time because I remember, people didn't like Bill Clinton. And I just remember there was like a lot of division in the country during that time. And that was probably one of the most prosperous times under peaceful and prosperous times that we had was under Bill Clinton, and I don't know, like it, but I feel like it started at least with that I noticed anyway. And then when Obama came into office, like it really got crazy. Like I just remember because I was on Facebook a lot because I used to game. I played Mafia Wars and I was on that stupid game constantly when I wasn't at work. And I just remember seeing just the hatefulness against him. And I really feel like that really destabilized a lot of people. That's when you started seeing the Tea Party come out, and just a lot of different stuff.
King Neb, what's up, my guy?
What's going on, family? How you doing?
Looks like there's a fire in Chicago. This is from 1 hour ago. Major Chicago fire evacuations in Illinois. That looks like just one building to me, but maybe that's an apartment building.
Yeah.
There's
a question raised about world events. I forget where I saw it, but do you guys think that there are actually more things happening now, or is it we just have access to it?
I mean, we definitely have more access to stuff.
Yeah.
Someone in JLR investigate. So we have a fire at 112.
Oh shit! The audio started.
I think that we have more access to it. There's just a lot more awareness of what's going on because people have access to stuff, and people kind of ramble around on the internet looking at different stuff, and then it becomes viral, and I don't know, but
a lot has changed since the 80s, huh?
Oh yeah.
Oh
yeah. What's up, Neb? How are you, man?
I'm chilling. I can't complain. I'm in the process of movement. I'm sorry I haven't been around.
It's all right, bro. We got Daz Exotic in the house.
Okay.
He's gonna lend us some insight. Yeah, this is a crazy looking fire for sure, but it's a funeral or furniture store, I guess, not an apartment building.
What were they hiding in that furniture store that they had to get rid of the evidence?
Right.
Well, it is Chicago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a crazy theory about LA fires, and it's a wild one, but I'm sure somebody's thought of it. I think they were burning evidence in LA.
Mm-hmm.
The Democrats were burning evidence.
It could be both Democrats or
both.
Republicans.
Everybody. They say it was Diddy.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Yeah, it doesn't even have to be. Could be anybody. Diddy's oil caught on fire, man. Shit, how many bottles of oil? Like that shit will go up in flames quick.
Was there evidence at my brother's house?
Who?
I don't think so. Was there evidence at my guest house who had to evacuate their house in the middle of my episode? I don't think so.
I don't know. I don't think that's what he meant. He's talking about who started the fire, not like.
I was talking about your theory about evidence is what was burning. So as stuff is burning, I'm saying that there wasn't evidence at the people I knew in California's house.
You sound very. It's hard to hear you, man. You're very garbled.
Hold on, I'm gonna switch.
That sounds better. Oh no, there it goes. Yeah, all right.
Let me
yeah,
go.
that was like.
Sounds...
Now you're staticky. Maybe it's me. No.
Sounds like everybody knows.
Yeah, we all have it now.
Hello.
It spread like a virus.
Like a pirate.
Yeah.
Like a pirate.
It's a pandemic.
That's crazy. It is. We all have it. Hold on. Let's mute everybody and then we'll unmute
Figure it out.
everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Testing. Okay. So far, so good. Kim.
Testing.
All right. Okay, we're good. G-Lo.
Check.
I think you got a static. You keep going.
Checkity check. 1, 2, 3. 1, 1, 1.
Yeah, you got the
You're
static,
staticky.
bro. Hold on, Neb. You're coming.
Wasn't me. Wasn't me.
Okay. Yeah, I don't hear it. G-Lo, it's probably because you're on a phone. That's probably all it is. You want to just
I'll drop
leave
down
and come back. All right, man. You can try to come back. It should clear it away, but testing. Did we all get it again? No. Okay.
No.
All right. That was crazy. How like all of a sudden all of us we all had it. Yep. Viruses.
Like wildfire.
Wildfire.
A lot of tunnels under the houses in LA, Matthew. Huh. Not heard of that. I could imagine, there's a lot of stories. I've been to LA one time. I was there for 2 weeks for the military. We literally lived in tents in a parking lot. Look at that, Ned just turned around all of a sudden.
Why in a parking lot?
What happened? I turned around.
It was a motor pool with where we had all our vehicles.
Oh, and you had to stay with your vehicles.
Yeah, although that was part of our training. We were doing shit out in the motor pool, Hey, Trent, what's up, my guy? All right. Okay, we should be able to hear him better now.
You done made me have to get in my setup.
There you go.
Go and sit down in the office.
Neb said, "Here you go." That's funny.
At least you got a shirt on. Some people like to come up
or sitting in the dark or without a single word to say.
Rose, I hope you feel better. Good night. Hey, Trent.
Good night, Rose.
Good night, Rose.
I hope you feel better too, Rose. So what, Matt? What are you laughing at down there? Okay. So Neb, what's going on in your life, man? You've been busy, been moving, you said?
Moved? Yeah, moving, working on my second album, and had to kick a roommate out today.
You got bars. Spit something. I'm trying to hear the 16. Spit something.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
Oh, man.
The shirtless Matt. Yeah, you were one of those. You're not the only one, but you were one of them. Matt.
Come on, man. You got any bars on any current events or anything going on?
Can we look something up and listen to it or no?
Sure, you can on YouTube, man. Wolf Tickets. Go ahead, look at Wolf Tickets.
We might
play a Wolf Ticket track and then play a Daz Exotic track or something, man. Let the people know something, because I'll be on here. They done see me angry so many times. They need to feel my love sometimes. How you doing, Kim?
It's been a rough week. My last 3 weeks, my sister passed away last week, and I got back from her funeral this morning. So,
did you move, Kim? You're in a different setting.
No, well, I moved back in October.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I moved into my house. Finally, got finished being built.
Nice.
But it's a mess because the bathtub the drain wasn't connected to the plumbing to take the water out. Ooh. And my house flooded, so that's still all fucked up.
Neb just gonna skip right over the sister part. Let's
No, I didn't think over that. I heard that. I gave her the condolences. It was just, I seen her settings. She usually have the Air Force behind her.
Yeah.
That's rough. My auntie Pam just passed, and like 20 minutes ago, I found out a pretty close. Well, I found out a pretty close supporter passed. So that's wild.
That's not easy when that happens the first time. Like, it's like, whoa, you're building up a community of people, and that's a part of the community that you don't think about when you're just all happy go lucky. Let's grab more people, bring more people into this thing that we're building here.
I mean, this is it's far from the first. For me, it's far from the first time.
I know. I just mean like when that.
But it was wild. Yeah, it's wild. Well, and it's crazy. What threw me off the worst time was when they didn't let me. I didn't fully understand how sick they were.
Right.
And that's always the worst.
A lot of times people don't want to tell you, if things are bad, and that's.
I'll be talking to him every day, and then one day it's like,
boom.
Hey, have you been? No.
Yeah, I think it's something. It's a case where people a lot of times will think that they don't want to burden you, and if they tell you that there'll be something that changes or whatever, and that's probably true, but at the same time, like if there's a lot of things you might do differently, at the same time, you know what I mean?
Well, I think
kind of tough.
A lot of the times people are in denial about stuff too. They don't want to admit that they're sicker than what they are.
That's true too. Yeah, you never know when it takes a turn.
Yeah.
Cold weather, man. Go ahead, man.
I actually read a shout out, rest in heaven, Anthony Reyes. And I read the way I talked to him, and I was like, because this is another recent supporter who passed too, and he had nothing but good things to say, right? But and he came out the gate like that. But then he would send me links, and so the last thing I was like, I had forgot who it was. I'm thinking it's a badass nigga. Sometimes you underestimate how many people are actually hearing you and connecting, especially an insecure guy such as myself sometimes, or I feel unheard. I won't call myself insecure. That would be crazy. But yeah. And he was in there, and the last thing I was like, yo, can you stop spamming? If you said hello or something personal first, it might be okay. And then I find out the guy passed, and I was like, damn. Because I read our actual conversation we had, and he had showed me mad love. We got a very what have you done for me lately mentality, and it's tough not to when.
Yeah, that's true.
When we're in a business, Nev, it's crazy because rapping is such an unsubstantial thing. You could show them $100,000 in your bank account, and they won't trust your career enough to give you a loan for something. Nah, nigga, just because you had one hot song don't mean shit.
That's not it. Yeah, you're right. That's not it, King Waylon. You
that's
just
not the one?
Yeah, just type in Wolf Ticket as one word and then space and put Neb, and it'll pop right up.
It looks like you there, but I can't see the.
Man, we all wear because you black. Because everybody black, we all look the same.
Don't
Come on now.
Do that.
I'm messing with you. I'm messing with you. It's all good. There you go. The wolf
That's
right
it?
there. Mm-hmm.
Well, that definitely looks like you.
Yeah.
You're Waylon. Go in. Waylon be low key going crazy.
You selling Wolf tickets. Don't think you know what this is.
Oh, can you hear that? Okay.
Yep. Yeah.
You selling Wolf tickets. My lifestyle prohibits I'll shut this down in a minute. If we ain't talking about biz, I ain't with it. If you coming up with plans to expand the fam, talking like that, then I'm with it. I'm not trying to hear it. All about your fantasies. Do me a favor, don't do me no favors, don't even promise.
Kim, you ain't dancing. You ain't dancing, Kim.
Take
that tail, fella. What you doing?
You're a lyrical rapper, though. You gotta
Dude, I just drove 211 miles
Oh, wow.
in 2 hours and 20 minutes.
Oh wow.
You don't want to move.
Like, my body is.
Don't think you know what this
Woo!
is.
That's crazy.
I'm not full of bullshit now. Selling wolf tickets. Well, let me give you this one rule. Don't try to play me for a fool. Don't tell me what you're gonna do and never come through.
How recent is this
distance between me and you. But I can quickly turn them Mr.
October?
High. If you owe me, don't let it slide. Got my
I'm working on my
homies,
still finishing the album. 11 months.
Are you able to turn it up, Waylon?
Too short to be wasting
I
time.
hear it.
So why the fuck you sitting here wasting mine?
You gotta turn that shit up so people can feel that
I'm gonna
shit.
let the chorus say it one more time. So don't come at me with bullshit. I see you reneging now. You selling wolf tickets.
Woo!
Don't think you know what this is. I'm not full of bullshit now. You selling wolf tickets.
Yeah, see,
Okay. Pull up me and Milk's new songs. That is fire.
Oh shit.
That's Exotic and Milk. I fuck with that though. That chorus is catchy.
thank you.
That chorus is
I'm pretty
catchy.
good with the choruses, man. I'm pretty good with the choruses.
Yeah, the beat had a little bit of sway to it.
Mm-hmm.
This is
cowboy to it.
Man, I'm gonna have to bitch, or I'm gonna have to fight all these claims tomorrow. Go ahead. What?
I give
Oh,
Nebulous
yeah.
King Nebulous give Waylon permission to use my music.
Yes.
I'm King Nebulous. This is me, King Neb.
That's-
That's my music.
That's Exotic gives permission. Shout out to Lisa in the building. But Kim, this one's for you, Kim. This one's for you, Kim.
Come on. Whoa. Let's go. Come on. Yeah. We won't stop. We can't stop. And we won't stop. Cause we can't stop. Come on. Come on. It feels good right now. We won't stop. Baby, we can't stop. What you wanna do? Where you wanna go? I can love you down from your head to your toes. Baby girl, I'm out, fuck you better than a rose. Freak in the sheets, but you never been a hoe. Won't judge you from your past, but love you fat ass. Swear to gotta stare every time you walk past. Other niggas thirsty, I'll pour you a glass. Always on time, but won't move too fast. Might not be your first, but aiming to be your last. No more names, no more games. Dreaming of a love where you won't feel pain. Highs and lows, I suppose, but when it comes to life, that's just how it goes. I wanna be a smooth ride down this rocky road. And speaking of rocky road, you're the dessert that I like the most.
Okay.
You know what's about to go down.
Uh-oh, Milk got bars, Waylon. Milk
Let's go. Yo, am I okay? Drink it up. I just wanna give you love. Try it once, can't get enough. Oreo girl, I dip you in my cup. Yeah, I'll eat you up. Sleep with you, but I never ever sleep on you. I hope I get time when you're freeing up. I wanna have a wife like the preacher does. Yeah. That's Whitney Houston. What you doing? We could take a trip to Houston, Himalaya. But I'm not a player. Keep it player like I play for the majors, like it's a movie. Baby, let's keep it grooving. I want the time we spend to be something like old school music. All I wanna do is.
Cause we can't stop. And we won't stop.
You know,
we can't stop.
I see you smoking to it, Waylon. That's such.
Come on.
no, but we won't stop. Baby, we can't
And if you find the vibes, like you can. You silly. You can play the vibes on mine too. There you can play with that neck. That's a good feeling right there. The vibes.
Yeah, I'm feeling a similar vibe between those because I've heard Daz actually do a lot more higher energy, and those were both more like R&B kind of.
Yeah,
you know, like a more of a vibe to it.
He said he was talking about his song called "The Vibes."
Oh, my bad. I thought you were just saying,
Dad's on it. He picking up what I'm laying down.
I just hear a lot of stuff. Shout out, add me, Kelly, or what is it, Kelsip. But
Q.
Yeah, you know, we do our podcast over there. Let's Vibe TV. I just
type in King Nebula.
Link up your you know people in the boxes, you're always allowed to link it up like it's the button up in the top there. It makes it your content.
I see it.
Come on.
I'm not gonna use it.
Not gonna use it, right? Didn't think so.
Maybe when you schedule, like if I know I'm gonna be on, I will. But I literally just went live on my page. I just went live.
What happened to G-Lo?
Hi, Gabriella.
G-Lo, I think he just didn't. He thought it wasn't gonna work or something. He just left.
What kind of current events are you trying to talk about, Layla?
We were talking about a few things already. What was going on in our lives, what's going on in your life. You just put that song out, so we listened to that. That's new.
Check out go to
I did
King Nebulous and hit the vibe song. It's the same picture as what I have in the on my thing here. I noticed I just have Kig, K-I-G, Neb. Kig Neb.
Kick? What do you say?
No, Nebulous. It's King Nebulous.
He's faded.
That's what I typed. What do you mean, King?
No, I'm saying on my name on the screen here on the stage it says K-I-G. Yeah. Just put King.
Oh, there. Gotcha. I can't see it on that screen because my big screen's covered right now. Typing on YouTube.
But I just
there you go.
Is it O-U-S or U-S?
L-U-L. N-E-B-U-L-I-S. Yeah, I mean, second guessing my name, goddamn.
Okay, I'm gonna
with a wolf. Yeah. Thank you, I appreciate that. And let's look for the vibes right there, to the right. Yep, that one, the vibes. There we go.
Throw your L's up in the sky.
Turn it down just a little bit.
Yep, little Stevie Nick.
Same picture.
Yep.
All right, after this song, I'm going to pull up the wheel.
All right, cool.
Now it's another day, I'm feeling great. Got me a Hemperillo and I'm rolling up an 8. I'm about to leave the whole place thinking. I'm smoking gas by Tim Lincoln.
I'm probably gonna jump off, but I'll be in the comment section, my guy.
All right,
brother.
Yeah. Thanks, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna follow you, King Neb. Follow me back.
Of course.
Kim still ain't followed me.
Huh?
This motherfucker, yeah, I'm new in town. I smoke this shit that
waiting for you. You're waiting on your group.
Cut it down some more. What you say?
You want me to turn it up?
I know you turn it down. Turn it down so I can hear you.
Yeah.
I hear it all the time, so I'm good with it.
You're like, I'm used to it, right?
Yeah, I'm used to it, yeah. Okay, I got a pocket full of lungs full of.
Pulling up to the scene with me and 2 queens.
Yeah, King Ned living that dream. Make dope music and I
King
grow
Ned with
big
his
green. Staying high
harem.
is the motto. It's a hard pill to swallow. I'm a hard act to follow. Dab it up. Positive energy, positive vibes. I know deep down inside.
Well, I'm gonna look at a couple other stories here after I do the Twitter wheel. 27
Wiggle
likes.
time.
We're not gonna get to our 16th house. Hit that like button if you want to get to the door prize, guys. Brandon back in the comments. Share us out, brother. Share us out. Gabrielle, how are you doing? Gabrielle, you like that picture of my dog? Got her groomed today. Got her pampered. Seen that, Tim?
Yeah.
I checked it out. My dogs is just spoiled. Get their little nails done. Take a little picture afterwards with a little bandana on it.
Max is getting groomed on Saturday.
They have the flowers and stuff. Oh, I need to stop for it.
Yeah, you stop that.
Oh, that's you too again. Okay, I just want to make sure doesn't jump to somebody else. All right, let me pull the wheel up.
Max is getting groomed on Saturday.
Mad Max.
So
something that I ran into today is like they don't really have to cut my dog's hair, but yet I'm still getting charged $75.
They do that.
What do they do her?
Elisa May, what's up? So they cut her nails, they brushed her teeth, they gave her a bath, they did trim up around her butt, and of course trimmed up on her paws, but her paws weren't even that bad. I
imagine just brushing a husky is probably like heavy labor. Those dogs are
but not mine. I do most of the work on that with the rake. I have a rake, and like she only once or twice a year will grow this overcoat that I have to take off. Otherwise, she's just shedding all the time.
Yeah.
People don't. I don't know. Husky owners don't do that. They just like think, oh, I guess this is life now. I just have hair everywhere. Like, no, you do that one time. What's that?
So they don't have dreadlocks.
Yeah, man. Like the dogs get matted and they get I think it's unhealthy. But she's you guys seeing her pictures. She doesn't. I don't have to brush her that much to make her look like that. It's like 2 or 3 weeks where she's shedding and I have to slowly rake her off because it's not a process I can do right away. She doesn't like it for too long. It doesn't hurt her, but it's just like she just doesn't want to stand still. I have her stand still. She kind of starts walking away as I'm doing. I'm like,
well, I think those hairs on them are like cats. Cats have like, I don't know if you've ever noticed if you've looked at cat fur, but some hairs are longer than others. Their hair acts like feelers. And I'd imagine if you brush for too long, it probably gets annoying, just like it does for cats. That's why cats get so annoyed if you touch them too much.
One thing with dogs for sure, you definitely want to like when people, especially if it's a dog you don't know, people will come up to the dog and just start petting them, like full force petting, and not realizing that is how do you put it? Like it excites the dog, and not sexual necessarily, but like it amps up their energy when you just start patting them and petting them like full force. But if you put, like to your point, Kim, the hair, like the being gentle with the cat's hair, if you do that with a dog too, like real, like nice and gentle with the hair, it actually sends a different signal to their their body. It's interesting. Raking them bitches, Joe. Yeah, I mean it doesn't hurt. It's just like it really just kind of peels right off. It's like I don't know. It's not even remotely. Doesn't feel remotely bad, like I'm hurting her in any way. You know what I mean? She's just like it's just coming right off because like you can just peel it right off anyway with your hands. It just doesn't come off as evenly and uniformly as you do with the rake. And anyway, I'm defending myself. Damn it, you guys have me on a pedestal over here. Fuck you all. No. I tell you what, I think she does really well though for a husky because she's also not a huge husky. She's kind of a small husky.
Mm-hmm.
So even for females, they say she's kind of a smaller one. So she's like 50 pounds, 52 pounds. I give her like red meat and I give her plenty of stuff like food. I put a little video out of me handing her some red meat tonight. That was fun.
So
All right,
she's not a husky.
No, and of course males are a little bigger, but also their fur, depending on the husky's fur, it can look a lot bigger. And I think some people's husky just has a lot of fur. Well, hey, Country Boy Weeds, we need to add you to the wheel for the last spin. So that's going to be number 25. See, I knew I'd check for a reason. 25. Boom. All right, let's spin this for the Indoor Farmer supporters. I appreciate you guys. That's why I do this every week. We also are looking for the door prize. If we can get up to 50 likes, we've got 27 right now. I don't think it's going to happen tonight. Oh, that's an 11. Oh my God, wrong button. There we go.
Good luck.
Proved me wrong.
Good luck. Good luck.
25. There we go.
Did you see where China,
Joe.
What do you call it?
Thanks, Trent.
Australia reported that they had a sighting of a Chinese warship off the shore of Alaska. The shore of Australia recently.
No, I'd like to look that up. Can you point me to?
I think it was in military news. I can't remember.
Okay.
It was one
Come
of the
on,
military
reporter
news
Kim. Come on,
agencies.
Kim. Pull it up. Come on, Kim. You got this.
Well, I had it in an email, but I deleted it already.
Well, if it's that kind of story, I should be able to find it pretty easy.
Yeah.
As soon as this is
That's
done.
not surprising.
No, it's not surprising.
You see the drone
Chinese are getting pretty damn bold. They're building islands in the middle of the ocean and
excuse me. I guess China has some drone cars, Joe says. Yeah, I believe it.
Oh yeah, they're kind of badass.
China's it's an interesting case because they have some economic problems. They have things that make it seem like they could be in a recession or worse. But the way their government works, they could still be moving full steam ahead on some crazy projects like technology and such, even if that's happening. Number 14.
Congratulations.
Number 14. You know what? Last night's winner was number 15. That's crazy. That's crazy, insane to the membrane right there.
Insane in the brain.
Got him.
speaking of that, I just read where they came up with a
Orzel. Congrats, Joe. Go ahead.
Where they just came up with an early test for detection of Alzheimer's.
Really?
Genetic test.
No, I don't think it's a genetic test. It was, let me see if I can find it. I was just reading it.
Joe Orzel, are you here, my guy? I'm going to look for this story about Australia, Chinese
warship.
ships.
It was a warship.
It finished it for me, ships Australia, so I think it's going to find. U.S. China correspondent at FT, Chinese and Japanese speaker, Tokyo, Hong Kong, and Beijing previously photographer. What am I looking at here? Top. Australia has defunded the military since the 80s when Kim Beazley warned we should be increasing. Then Howard took over guns. Now we have 3 Chinese warships 150 miles off of Sydney. Time to give our guns back, empty our jails into the military, and focus on what's real and stop the woke. Oh, snap. Okay, let me just share this screen in so we can see some of this thread here. Now, oh, shit, my best. visual echo. We'll pull the wheel back up if we get to the numbers. No big deal. Let me share this other screen. Brandon's still in the house. Bean Dongo, what's up, my guy? If you're still here, come on up.
Come on down.
Good night, Jess.
Good night, Jess.
Freedom of navigation boomerang. Goes around, comes around. Chinese stealth destroyers lurk 124 miles off Sydney's coast.
There you go.
Oh,
Chinese naval task force consisting of the Type 055 guided missile destroyer, Type 055, a Type 054A freighter, and a Type 903 Alpha replenishment ship. It's been spotted operating approximately 124 miles east of Sydney. That's coming from Starboy Sar. I don't know who that is. He's verified, I guess. In international waters, absolutely fair game. Not even provocative. Okay. 124 miles off of the coast might be in international waters. Most Australian people still living in the past, not aware that 3 ships and maybe nuclear subs under can eliminate the whole Australian Navy in a short time. Okay, so a lot of people weighing in on this. I have not seen the story. And then taste of their own medicine. Okay, so we'll go back. Here we go. Currently sitting at the edge of Australia. Oh, so it's like a meme or GIF.
You never know what the next big thing's gonna be.
Yep. What was the other thing that you said, Kim?
They developed some kind of a new test to early detect, like years before Alzheimer's.
It's Alzheimer's, right? ALZHEMERS or IHY.
No, there's no Y. It's EI. It's a blood test.
Early detection saves lives, and it starts with understanding the signs. The VOA Foundation's new video highlights this critical message, featuring experiences from individuals and caregivers. I'm not sure if that's what you meant. Probably not.
It's a blood test that looks at the.
January. This is last year.
I don't know what it is. The stuff that ends up causing Alzheimer's.
I think this would be it. The video highlights this critical message, featuring experiences from individuals and caregivers. I guess I could click that, but that's a video. Huh. I'm not seeing anything more recent than that. Improving lives affect Alzheimer's early detection risk. Okay. New early detection method, maybe. How about that?
Maybe. I don't know. It was in my news feed for my Google.
New blood tests could improve Alzheimer's disease diagnosis, research finds. This is from 12 hours ago. This is it here.
Could be.
From Ian Kramer.
Depends on what they say.
Well, let's see here. To half of all people living with Alzheimer's disease in Ireland remain undiagnosed. A new blood test may have the potential to transform patient care, allowing for better diagnosis, earlier interventions, and more targeted treatments. Researchers at Trinity College the Talate Institute of Memory and Cognition and St. James Hospital, Dublin, are exploring the ability of a new blood test, plasma PTAU 217, p-tau 217, to detect Alzheimer's disease, AD. This test could potentially replace the current diagnosis method, the lumbar puncture spinal tap, which is invasive and poses risk and challenges. Oh, wow, that's the current method?
Yeah.
Holy cow. In over half of patients with early symptoms, thus allowing more patients to be diagnosed more accurately and with greater efficiency. The study is published in the journal Alzheimer's and Dementia Diagnosis, Assessment, and Disease Monitoring. Okay.
You know, I remember there's a lot of stuff going around, you know, the internet and stuff, you know, where people talk shit about money that's been spent on research for cancer and Alzheimer's and stuff like that. And I remember back in the 80s when people were diagnosed with breast cancer and they were diagnosed with, you know, Alzheimer's. Alzheimer's wasn't even something that anybody really knew anything about. That came along with Ronald Reagan. And it was, you know, it was devastating because there was no hope for it. And after Ronald Reagan got diagnosed with it and it came out and everything, you know, they started doing a lot of research, and look at where it's come. I mean, it takes so many years to do research. People just don't understand how, you know, research methodology works and just how time consuming it is, because, you know, you do a research, you know, you do a test, but you have to keep testing it over and over and over and over, and you have to come up with the same results. And every person that runs that test has to come up with the same results. Otherwise, it's not a valid test. And
same thing with autism. They know very little about it now. And my son was part of the testing at first, but we didn't follow through with it.
Yeah.
They want you to come back every so many years, and then they keep going over the stuff with you. And maybe new genetic testing done because they learn new stuff with it.
Yeah, there's just so much that develops, you know, and as the technology, you know, I have friends that work in cancer research. I have these two friends that are medical doctors, and their entire career, they went in to become medical doctors because there's a group of three guys, and the third guy, he's an engineer, but both of his parents died when he was a teenager from cancer, different cancers, but they both died from cancer while he was a teenager. And his best friends growing up became doctors, and they became doctors to do cancer research. And, you know, it just, the way that it works, people don't understand it because, you know, most people aren't connected to that world. It just takes so many years, and it takes so much money to do that research, because you're not paying flunkies. You're not paying people like me and you just to go out and do this stuff. These are some of the brightest minds in the medical profession that are passionate about what they're doing, going in there day in and day out, running these methodologies. But, you know, and autism, you know, is another one. Autism's been around for a long time, but the prevalence of it has exacerbated since probably the 80s that I've known, that I've kept track of.
Well, 7 years ago, they knew hardly anything about genetic testing and autism.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that all has to develop, because I was in college 25 years ago, and I remember it was when I was doing my master's degree to become a special ed teacher. And I remember running into this idea of autism. Like, I kind of knew something about it because my son had a friend that has Asperger's syndrome. And one of the things that I noticed when I started like looking at different case studies was that autism and schizophrenia seem to be comorbid, which means that in families of people with autism, people that have children or whatever, family members with autism, you also see schizophrenia run in those families. At least you did back in those times. I don't know if that's still the case or not. But there was a lot of research back when I was going to college that really looked at that, and it suggested, because schizophrenia is also a genetic condition, and it is a developmental disorder just like autism is. And there's just a lot of similarities in the way that it all presents.
Yeah, but usually autism has way more than just one symptom, like OCD,
Oh, yeah.
anxiety. It's like a whole spectrum of.
Schizophrenia does too, in its developmental stages. I've worked with a lot of kids in the 25 years that I've been a special ed teacher, and schizophrenia is the same way. It's developmental, and there's a lot of things that go with it that people don't realize. A lot of sensory kinds of issues. There's just a lot of stuff that goes with it as well. But it's really interesting because that's where people first started looking at autism. There wasn't money for that kind of research back then, but being that we started seeing higher instances of it, and you started seeing families of affluence that were having children that had autism, that you started seeing a lot more money being poured into research for autism. So it's behind the curve compared to like breast cancer and Alzheimer's and things like that. But yeah, it's interesting, that research. It's interesting. I love doing research. If I could have a job just running research all day long, I would love that, because I just find it fascinating. It's very methodical. It's the science methodology. If you've ever done a science experiment, if you remember back to when, you were in high school or something, and you had to learn the research method, that's what it is. It all boils down to the research method. And
that's right.
Running your testing, your hypothesis, proving,
Right.
disproving.
Research is fun.
Yeah,
that's why
it
it
is.
shouldn't be an opinion thing, but people somehow still make it that. Like this here, like in my opinion, whether or not he fixes autism, I am glad that RFK is pledging to looking into the connection between vaccines and autism. Look, great. If it happens, I'm all for it. That's all I can say. Like, I can't say whether or not, whether or not you like RFK or whatever. Him putting a light on it, him kind of pointing fingers at it, is a good thing in my opinion. So let's go. I mean, he's got a lot of other fingers pointed at other places too. So it is what it is. Like I said, check it out if you want to look into his stance. But he does put out some good points about it, just because of like the increase of it. Now, we have talked about it before on this show, even about how sometimes it's just things that were not reported back in the day. That's still, I don't think that accounts for the sheer number of an increase in autism.
Yeah, but in other countries, they're not seeing that increase, and they're not using all these vaccines. So
right, see,
right.
Yeah,
exactly.
Perfectly good evidence.
Yeah, but the thing about other countries is that most of those countries are homogeneous populations. You don't have the melting pot.
I don't know. Some of them are melted pretty crazily now with different huge influxes of refugees over the last 10 years from different things. Like England doesn't exactly look like England anymore. So if they're still not having an uptick in autism, then I feel like there is a different correlation,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't discount that there might be instances of, vaccines causing autism. I feel like it's more something environmental. I feel like it's something that we're either ingesting or
But yeah, I was about to
being
sorry for
hormone
the interjection.
disruptors and
I was
shit.
thinking more so of like when they start giving kids Ritalin a lot in school, like there's certain medicines you have to take to go to school. And I've seen that a lot of the autism rate went up. Like, can you tell me what year that it spiked up a lot? Because you haven't heard too much of autism like back in the early 90s.
Well, autism existed because I remember when I first started out getting my degree to be a special ed teacher, like one of the first things that you have to go through, you have to do these really basic courses, and we had to do like the history of special education and stuff. And I remember when it's, having to read all of that stuff and study it and talk about it and blah, 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 all the stuff that you go through when you take those classes. But autism is something that's been around for a really long time. Like there's been instances of it, like recorded instances of it as, before the 1920s. So I think that some level of autism has existed in society for a really long time. It may not have had a name to it, but
so they say the biggest spike in autism diagnosis has occurred over the past few decades, particularly since the early 2000s, according to the CDC.
Well, let me tell you something about instances, okay? And so special education is guided in the United States, is guided by IDEA, which is Individuals with Disabilities Education Act.
Right, okay.
Yeah, so it's a federal law. It's been on the books for a long time. In the most recent reauthorization of that bill that I'm aware of, I haven't really paid attention to it the last 20 years, but the last time they reauthorized IDEA was around the time that they did No Child Left Behind, which would have been the early 2000s.
Right, as they were saying here, like one in 150.
One of the functions of IDEA for a long time has been what they call child find. And child find used to be, prior to 2000, child find started around 3rd grade. But because we started having parents that were more aware, especially affluent parents, okay, that were becoming more aware of Asperger's syndrome and things like that, you started having parents that were really pushing their their federal legislators to do something about it. And so when they reauthorized IDEA, they knocked the child find down to infancy, because one of the things that we found in this profession of dealing with special needs kids, period, just across the board, but which is critical for kids with autism, the earlier that you identify autistic traits, the earlier the detection of it is, the better the outcome for an autistic child is, because
they won't diagnose that early though. They won't even diagnose until
2 years of age in Illinois.
Yeah,
they may not diagnose it. Let me tell you something. They may not diagnose it because it's a developmental disorder. So you have to have a certain level of development. But the symptoms for autism start very early in infancy, during infancy, especially during the time when kids start to talk. That's when.
Yeah, we had no idea what was going on. And they couldn't tell us yet because we can't really tell for sure. We did kind of assume. We made some assumptions. I'm sure you did too, Elisa May. It's like, well, what else could it be?
Let me say this. They say here 1 in 150 children in 2000 was diagnosed. So 1 in 150. Now 2023.
I think that
1 in 36.
I think that autism probably existed, and it just went undiagnosed because people didn't, especially higher functioning.
Not that much though. I think you're right.
It didn't exist like it does now when I was a kid. I never went and stayed with no friends, nobody. Did I ever see an autistic kid really?
Right.
More
Well,
Down
I
syndrome
would
back then.
I would bet you that the kids that were autistic prior to that were probably labeled as mentally retarded.
Yeah. It could be.
But the class size was way less than it is now.
Yeah.
There was like one class for those kids when I was going to school.
Well, yeah, but that's because there's like, I don't know. I think that they've just gotten better about identifying it, one, and two, the other thing that went with kids like that, especially severely disabled kids, was a lot of those kids were not, their parents didn't send them to school. They weren't educated. A lot of them stayed home. So that, there's things that account for that. I'm not discounting what you're saying so much, but there's a lot of other things that went in with that. Just knowing how kind of things developed. I remember when I was a kid, you hardly ever saw kids that were severely disabled. You never saw them in society. I remember
probably Down syndrome more so than anything.
No, it wasn't just Down syndrome. Like, I remember seeing severely mentally retarded kids in school.
I got you.
Which a lot of the times autistic kids have been labeled as severely mentally retarded because there really wasn't a diagnosis for that.
Or there's a combination of things in the first place that it's hard to separate out some of it. Either way, I think there's an uptick. I think both can be true. I think it can be true that maybe there was a lot of undiagnosed, higher functioning.
Yeah.
People more aware of it now.
There's definitely an uptick in.
But look at what happened. Look at what happened in the 80s when a lot of these people started getting pregnant and having kids. Like, that's when plastics, I'm telling you, plastics, petroleum products, that kind of shit really took a hold in the late 70s and into the 80s when a lot of these kids started being born.
So the drugs.
Yeah, but I don't know that drugs are necessarily causing autism. That doesn't make.
We'll never know.
There's other things that drugs do that mess with
other side effects of drugs, right?
Yeah, and they present differently than autism. But
I'm not saying street drugs. I'm saying like prescribed, like that or medication, because there's different side effects. You take several pills, each of them has to correlate with one another. If not, there's always going to be like an offset or an offset of a genetic, or there's a side effect to it.
Well, synthetic stuff in general, yeah, man. Even like things like baby formula. Look at what Joe said when they found metals in the baby food at one time. Yeah. Like, there's a lot of little things that happened. And Ronald says back in the 70s, 80s, most autistic people were in facilities. That's what Mama Rochi said as well.
Yeah, they were institutionalized.
Such a place.
Yeah, I really heard of autism until like early 2000s.
That's the other thing, Rose.
Well, I knew about autism because my son, like I said, he had a friend in school that is on the spectrum. He was diagnosed with Asperger. I don't know if that's really, Asperger isn't really used so much anymore, but
they don't use it now.
Yeah.
So there's a shorter word for it. They just say autism.
Well, autism is an umbrella term for a variety. Like my granddaughter was diagnosed with autism. Autism is genetically doesn't run in our family anywhere, but when my granddaughter was born, she was born 2 or 3 weeks prematurely. But what caused her to be born that way was her mom had a placental abruption, and they had to do an emergency C-section. And so when Amy was born, she had been oxygen deprived, and they medevaced her to El Paso to the neonatal unit at Providence Hospital. And she was in a cool cap to minimize the brain swelling for a week or so. And she was on a respirator or ventilator or whatever, all that shit. And so at some point they took her off all of that, and then they did a MRI of her brain, and she has a small section on her occipital lobe of her brain. and she's got a lot of sensory stuff. Like she's wickedly smart, you know, and you know, you probably would never know that she would be considered being on the spectrum.
Let's see,
But
folic
she's got
acid,
some really crazy sensory shit that goes on.
folic acid, vitamin D, and a couple of other toxins during the pregnancy contributed to the autism blow up there.
Well, most people are
Well.
deficient on vitamin D, so
Right,
that's probably
so it's like folic acid, vitamin D, and other parental nutrients. Parental influence, exposure to certain toxins, infections, and complications during pregnancy may increase autism risk. So I'm just reading up on some things here.
Well, and this other thing that, like what Joe's saying here, the fluoride. I've seen this recently too about the fact that fluoride is in our toothpaste, and now this is the key. This is something that didn't come from me, but what someone brought up on the show I was watching. If fluoride was good for us, why would there be toothpaste that you can now find on the shelf that says fluoride free?
Free, right? Fluoride never good for us.
Well,
Fluoride was never
because
good for us.
people are like not wanting to use fluoride, you know.
Well, okay, so they're playing
We
to the
live in a
crowd.
capitalistic society, so people are gonna. It's
Yeah,
just
I can
like
see
why
that.
we have deodorant that doesn't have aluminum in it anymore.
Right, it's
I
fluoride in
think
water.
it's bad for us.
Fluoride is
Well,
bad
I
for
agree
us.
with you. I don't use deodorant that's got aluminum in it. You know.
When enough of the public finds out, you've been duping us, instead of us not buying the brands anymore, the brands just finally decide to alter their products in a better way. Isn't that crazy?
Can I
Thank
interject on
you.
that note?
I think that they cater to who's going to be buying what is what I
That's
think.
what I mean. But why do we let them get away with it? Go ahead, Nev.
I don't think
No,
it's
isn't it funny? We all turn of age, right? We all drink milk when we start, you know, from birth. You get older, you can't drink it no more. Isn't that weird?
Timothy.
Well, that's
Like
because
you
you
get
start becoming lactose intolerant. Yeah, because your
lactose
body
intolerant.
starts
It's kind of
changing.
funny how the body changes over time.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't like spicy things until I got older, you know, past like 20 and 25. Like I didn't really like hot sauce or anything like that. Now,
Right.
you know, I like onions more now. Like a lot of things are different.
Yeah, I can't do
Too
spicy.
much fluoride is
I
horrible.
don't like the way it exits. Get the goosebumps, man. I don't like spicy. I don't like
I
spicy.
love spicy now.
Mm.
The hotter, the better.
Oh Lord, no.
Too much.
I get goosebumps. I'll hold on to the handicap, you know, pole in the bathroom, like just crying for my mommy. I don't like the way it exits. I can't do the spicy. I get goosebumps. I can't do it.
Rose,
well, if you ate it regularly, it would be different.
But doesn't that mess with your stomach lining?
No.
No.
Well, I don't know. What are you talking about? What's causing it to be spicy? Are you talking about chili?
Okay, something like that. So what do you call spicy? What is spicy to you?
No, chili is very good for you. In fact, there's a lot of research that's been done with red chili being or maybe even green chili being a cure for cancer. There's people that go and do that. So it doesn't mess with the lining of your stomach. Now, if you're not used to eating it, yeah, it's going to burn coming out.
Yeah,
Burns on the way out.
It's going. That's what I'm saying. You're gonna have dragon fire coming out your booty.
Getting fireballs.
Yeah.
Wow.
Are you getting?
But once you get used to it, like once you eat it and get used to it, because that's all I eat. I live in the chili capital of the world. And we eat hot chili here where I come from.
See,
like
I can eat Domino's buffalo wings. I can eat those, but anything with like extra hotness with a cross and a skeleton on it, no, I don't mess with that.
No,
you would think if the burn's coming out, it couldn't be good for your insides.
Yeah,
No,
exactly.
It's
burning coming out.
Yeah,
that's fire.
Rose, I was asking you about you asked, or you were this comment here. You said which is man-made. Are you talking about the milk? The 50% of people can't even process the man-made milk. That's like all the
everything changed. All the cereals changed. A lot of things have changed. I used to like Frankenberries. They're different now. You know, it's just everything is different.
I like
So
Captain
it
Crunch.
takes it back to what we put in our body and not really aware of. It goes back to the fluoride, which goes back to stuff that gets our brain development different for the children.
Well, you know, what makes sense to me is that, like, because, you know, I'm a kid. I was raised on fluoride. Like,
yeah, but you ever
you know,
swallow
and I'm
toothpaste?
old.
You ever swallow toothpaste? That hurts your stomach, doesn't it?
Huh?
It's a poison.
Right, toothpaste. You ever swallow toothpaste?
It's a toxin.
Yeah.
I don't eat the toothpaste. No.
No, sometimes you make a mistake and swallow, you know, a little.
Yeah, no, I don't do that.
Okay.
You know, that's gross, but
it happens. Swallow gum before, right? That's
no,
gross
yeah,
too now.
I'm sorry, but I'm not into that. Like, I don't.
Swallow gum?
No, I don't do that either.
What did you say, Neb?
No, see, nobody ever swallowed gum when they was younger. You know,
I probably did when I was younger.
That's
but the thing is that, you know, I mean, like my son didn't have autism.
Right.
You know, I didn't have autism, and I was raised on fluoridated water, so I don't know. I mean,
not everyone that gets affected
but the thing is that, you know, what people don't understand about things too is that everybody's body is different. It reacts differently.
Sure, of course.
To
it's just
things,
like,
you know, and so there could be people that it does cause autism. You know, it could be an allergic reaction that fucks up, you know, whatever. I don't know what causes autism. You know, there's a lot of theories on it.
Vaccines can do that too. They affect people's bodies differently.
Oh yeah.
It's new, not good injections into the body or intake into the body at the end of the day. You know, something happened. It transferred down to the parent, like diabetes, for instance, that follows people through genetics. What you think about that?
Diabetes is an autoimmune.
Any type of genetically, you know, thing that you probably picked up. You probably didn't have it, but you probably ate something that had probably fluoride or folic acid. Then it comes to Rett syndrome and all
That's
this other
one thing
stuff.
I don't get though. They say autism is genetically, but they tested me and Joe, and they couldn't tell us whether autism came from my side or his side, or they couldn't tell us anything.
It could be the chromosomes,
genetic,
the chromosomes mixture. It could be the mixture. The DNA is not linking up together. Something's off. Something has to be off.
I don't think all autism is genetic, because my granddaughter is diagnosed with autism, and she didn't get her autism from genetics. She got it from a traumatic brain injury.
Yep, and that's exactly what it says.
Go ahead and finish. Sorry, Neb. You were trying to.
I'm just saying, if they know it's genetically, they should have been able to have information for us, which side it came from, which genetics.
Sure. I mean, I feel you on that, because it's like, if it's not a lineage of it, you know, it's a different. I hear where you're coming from, because there's not. You don't have it. Your husband don't have it.
They don't have that information. That's just made up.
Microbiome. So, but I not to make light of this. Well, to make light of this situation. Could you imagine Lisa May there behind the scenes? They're going, we can't tell these guys which one.
Right.
After this, forever, they're going to be able to. This one's going to be able to hold it over that one's head for their whole life.
You caused my son to get autism.
Oh, that would be the ultimate.
Right, they can't, because they have to responsibility. Yeah, that will be the ultimate. That's real.
I'll just do whatever you say. It's my fault. You know, like, wow, that would be. I don't know if I'd want to know.
Well, then don't tell me it's genetic disease when you can't even tell me genetically where it came from. I mean, if these are just proven facts, what do you know?
Well, it could be that they don't have the technology developed enough to be able to tell that either. I mean, I don't know. There's a lot of variables in there that.
From our genetics, they knew nothing. They knew Dylan was missing one chrome, but they said they can't tell if that's due to genetics, because it's seen in kids with autism. Kids that do have autism and kids that don't are missing that same gene. So they can't pinpoint it to that either.
Yeah. It's just, you know, it's just one of those things that it's going to take time to get that figured out, I think. And I think that they're going to find out, just like with cancer, you know, there's all kinds of different forms of cancer. They're not all the same. That's why different cancer treatments work for different things. But I think that they're going to eventually find out that there's multiple causes for autism.
Yeah, there
And
is
I think
multiple
that's
causes.
just
It
the
says it right
reality.
here.
I
It's like
think
there's
some
a
of
lot
it's
of multiple.
genetic. I think there may be like predispositions. Like you can look at families where there's, diabetes runs in families. It's a genetic. It's
Right.
I believe it's genetic
Right.
if I remember correctly. But you have family members that get it, and you have family members that don't get it.
It skips. Mm-hmm.
But I
And
do
I
hope
think
that they are testing how many kids get the vaccines that have autism and how many kids don't get those vaccines that have autism. I would like to know what those numbers really were.
See that question one more time, please, Elisa?
She's
Like
saying that
how
they don't
many
really.
kids get
Oh, go
the
ahead.
vaccine end up with autism, and how many kids that don't have the vaccines that have autism?
Yeah, show us the numbers if they really want to prove it for once and for all. Like do some research, because I don't know if anybody out there saying, guys, stop all this insanity. My kid has never been vaccinated and he has autism. Like there's no one out there saying that. No one out there going, hey guys, look, I'm one of those cases, like, because they'd be wanting to be on Maury and Dr. Phil and everywhere else. Like, look, we've never had any. We don't get vaccines where we live in, in the woods, and this happened. So I don't know. I think we all know the trope of the movie trope of like the hillbilly family that's got the one kid that's like like that movie with White Zombie, where they had this like mentally retarded, like one of the family members who doesn't talk. His name was Tiny, and he was a very big guy, like their muscle basically in the movie, but he was mentally retarded. And it's like that's a trope that we've all seen in movies many times, where it's like that hillbilly family out in the middle of the woods, one of them is retarded. Well, that doesn't jive with the vaccine theory, because those people probably don't have no vaccines out there. Just that in that scenario of the trope. Go ahead, Neb.
Reading some here, says in 2019, a study in Denmark followed 657,461 children over a decade and found no difference in the autism rates between the vaccinated and the unvaccinated children. In 2002, a study in Denmark looked at more than 537,000 children and found out no increased risk of autism is in vaccinated kids. 2015, a study in the U.S. found that no links between the MMR vaccine and autism, even in high-risk children. A 2010 review analyzed over 25 studies and confirmed the vaccines do not cause autism. So it's saying vaccinated children, 1 in 36, that's the same as the general population, and unvaccinated children is still the same, 1 in 36.
Where was this study done, did you say?
Now, it said that the study in the U.S. found 2015 U.S. between the MMR vaccine and autism.
Huh. Amy, that's a good question. Do any Amish people have autism?
Right.
That's a good question. But yeah, springs
yeah,
up.
maybe.
What you say about the diabetes, I believe that it's all a brain development in the genetics.
Well, there's different types of diabetes, I think, and I feel like being predisposition to having.
Well, that's what I was trying to get at. Is I think that there may be a predisposition in a lot of people for different things. Autism may be one of those things, where there's just some kind of a genetic anomaly, like something missing in the gene or chromosome.
That's what I was trying to say. The chromosomes. It's like two seeds. Like they're male and female, but just probably something their genetics are not making up the DNA for that to not happen. It's the brain development.
Yeah.
It can come from what we're eating. We can come from what we're putting in our bodies. We come from smoking. It can come from a whole bunch of things. Who knows?
Yeah, and it can come from things that we didn't actually do directly.
Directly, exactly.
Well, they're starting to recognize, you know, like it was really hard to link anything to dads for drug use. Say you had a father that was using drugs at the time of, you know, a baby's conception. And they're starting to look at that. They've been looking at that kind of research the last 20 or so years that I've noticed. I haven't really kept track of it, but I noticed that kind of research being done, looking at the father having used drugs at the time of conception and what it did genetically to the infant. And they found that it does do things.
Oh,
one of my patients was telling me that before too. I said, I didn't do no drugs when I was pregnant with him or even before or around, really. He said, well, was the father?
Yeah, because they're starting to realize that drugs do genetically modify the father's genes that they pass on too.
I mean, I believe that's goes to resemblance then. It all connects.
I would have to say that let's take the drugs out of it because that leaves a certain connotation immediately. That means that sounds like street drugs, and it sounds like doing something bad, right? But we can take all of that out of this, and you can talk about prescription drugs, and you can even take that out of this situation and talk about the food that we eat. So for years, we were going through those aisles in the grocery store eating things like, oh, these are baked chips. These are probably better. I'm being healthy, but you're still eating, you know, the glyphosate.
Yeah, but with that, I ate the same thing with my 20-year-old as I did with my 12-year-old, and he don't have autism.
That's not my point. I'm saying that the decisions we make with our food can also impact how our kids turn out. Like they live 100% can. And I'm just saying that like we don't have to demonize
drugs,
the farthest end or the extreme end of it in order to at least say we need to keep an eye on a little bit more of what we're doing or we're inputting. And I'm not saying that I'm above all this. Like I'm probably, you know, just as bad as anyone else. I'm still working on it, but I am aware of it at least. I think being aware of it is like half the battle. Like, oh shit, what I'm putting in here is actually going to affect, you know, if I have a child again, it's going to affect that child.
Right. It's just like, just to go back to what Kim was saying, you know, as far as the drug, it could be a street drug, you know, you could be that, you know, and you're right. And that's what I was leading to when I said about the milk. It all goes back to my milk question about, isn't it funny how our bodies change to not like milk anymore? You know what I'm saying? So as we eat things and put things in our body, our DNA and our immune system starts changing if we don't eat the right stuff. Like we have mercury in our mouth, but most of us who have filling. You get what I'm saying? So you don't want mercury in your mouth. You don't really need that in your mouth. But we have to accept that because of our insurance and then the whole chain of events to get to that point.
You know? Man, so they found different things to do that with now.
Right, exactly. You don't have to have mercury in your mouth, but it's mercury in tuna. So it's like, it's, you know, certain people have different, like when my son was born, he couldn't drink whole milk. He had to drink soy. I drink whole milk. His mother don't drink. His mother drink whole milk, you know, but he had to drink soy.
Well, I'm the same way. I'm allergic to dairy, all dairy. Mm-hmm. And so when I was born, I had to have formula that had I think it was soy.
Mm-hmm. Or almond milk or something like that. I have to take dairy pills to enjoy ice cream. I take dairy pills. I take dairy pills to enjoy ice cream. I'm sorry, I cannot live without Ben and Jerry's.
Well, I don't have a lactose intolerance. I have an actual allergy to dairy.
Okay.
I got testing for it, so dairy and eggs both.
Yeah,
but that's what we're looking for, Jenna. Thank you for your comments.
Yeah.
Well, guys, my mic is going to die on me here shortly. We are past the 2 hours. It's been a hell of an update on the current events. People in the boxes. We do it once a month. King Neb, the return of King Neb, and we played some music. That was fun. I try to stay away from it just to keep things safe on the on the stuff, but
in the comments.
it's totally good.
Jenna going in.
Other mammals don't drink other mammals' milk.
That's right.
Other
They
animals'
don't.
milk. They can though.
Yeah.
You can feed a kitten other milk for or you give cats. You can give cats milk even though it's not good for them. They drink it. So we're the only mammal that has the opposable thumbs and the brain power to put it into like containers and do things like pasteurize it. But I
Even
just
buy other people's
They
breast
do it in
milk
bags.
and feed their babies other people's breast milk.
They do it in bags in Canada. That's what's up. They put it in the milk in bags. I never seen that before.
Bags of milk, yeah.
Yeah, never seen it.
Big old just big old bags of milk, Neb.
They fill them up and then they put them they put the bags in the container, and that's how they pour their milk.
Yeah, I've seen it. That's
crazy.
They do.
I have to share something with you. This is so funny.
Let's hear it. I got time.
Well, I got time.
It's cute. It's my granddaughter. She's going to be 12. So earlier today, I left my car over at my son's house and I took a rental up to my sister's funeral up in Albuquerque. And so I stopped by to pick my car up and I went in to get my keys and I visited with my grandkids. And my granddaughter says, "Grandma, are you going to go to my birthday party at Sky Zone?" And I says, "I don't know. I haven't been invited." And so she kind of giggled a little bit and she's like, "Well, I'm going to invite you." I was like, "Oh, okay." I said, "So what do you want for your birthday this year?" Because this kid has friggin' everything. Like she lacks for nothing. And she says, "Well, I've been saving my money for this really expensive jacket that I want. It's like $50. And I said, "Oh," I said, "What's a jacket?" And she says, "Oh, it's just a jacket." And I said, "Okay." And I said, "Well, let me know what you want for your birthday." Because I said, "I have no idea what to get you." Right. So she just texted me. She says, "Okay, Grandma, I'll text you." So she just texted me. Huh?
She texted you the jacket?
No. She says, "Hi, by the way, Grandma Axel, the only two things I've been needing are a sketchbook and some hot glue sticks." Okay.
Oh, wow.
For my birthday.
That's what's up. That's simple. There you go.
I mean,
that's just so funny. Fucking glue sticks.
Yeah,
anything that she could ask for.
That begs more questions. The glue stick are different. So there's different sizes, you know, like what kind of glue sticks, you know?
I just find that, but she likes to craft and do art, and she's always
it's crafty. She wants to be crafty on her birthday. That's cool.
Mm-hmm. No, she's crafty all the time. She's funny. She's always making stuff. But
I've said it before. I'll say it again. I think that's what we should do during Christmas.
Have a crochet. You want us all to crochet something, Waylon?
No, I think arts and crafts. Like there's all kinds of cool things that you can make. You can get all kinds of ideas, and I think as a family, like this is my ideal. You know, maybe one day. You know, you got whoever's cooking, right? Whoever's cooking, and then you have the rest of the family. You know, somebody jump up to help when they need to, and everyone else hanging out, making something with each other. Maybe you pair up with one another or something like that. And every you know, every year you can make make something different, and you can make it with something that means something to you. Like say, make a picture frame and put a picture of you know, or a hat.
I made this with my work people this week.
No, they
there
do
you
that.
go.
And we all made like a really cool hat, and they got T-shirts. And when we have a meeting, we make like cool T-shirts and stuff.
I usually make that one.
All kinds of cool stuff to get us to the meeting.
Yeah, my daughter-in-law usually, like when we get together for the holidays, there's always some kind of a craft for the kids to do, making ornaments.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, because my family instead will just be like, "You better not get me nothing, because I didn't get you nothing." Like we don't have to. It doesn't have to be some gift or whatever. Like
no,
go to fucking Hobby Lobby, get some arts and crafts.
Yeah, do
some simple ass shit. Go to Pinterest and you can get hundreds of ideas of random ass simple shit that you can do, and including drawing a fucking picture, funny picture, whatever. and something that you can. And this is what I thought of is like create a decoration for the next holiday. Here's something for the 4th of July. Here's something for Easter, whatever you pick. Here, this is what we're going to make on Christmas, and that's my gift to you. And then, fuck all that other Hallmark bullshit.
Yeah.
People that get caught up in not being able to come by because they don't have they can't afford anything.
It's the simplest things. It's the simplest things. I had a birthday gift as a belly dancer. I was okay, hey, bravo. But then the cake that was made for the next birthday, I actually cried over because it was that simple. It was right to the point. It's less is more to me sometimes,
Yeah, it makes the memories more rememberable and more fun when you do stuff like that too. Our games at holidays, that's real fun too.
That's fun. Yeah. That's a good idea.
We make ornaments, so I'll be donating ornaments with your names on it.
That's a good call there, Amy. Okay. Well, I don't know. Well, she did say in the wild, but I think cats and dogs, adult dogs and cats would probably still drink milk if I put it in a bowl. Because it has sugar in it. Probably because it has sugar in it, though, to be honest. Like, it doesn't have to be that because it's milk. They might be like, oh, that smells sweet, and then we have some of that.
Yeah, but you don't want to be a wild animal trying to nurse an adult child either. Like that that doesn't ensure your survival. That leaves you vulnerable to being killed if you because I don't know if you've ever watched some of those nature shows, but predators go after that. So I think that's more of a survival kind of a thing.
You can catch this black man in the woods. I'm sorry.
Can you imagine?
I'm gonna call Kim. Come on, Kim, come get me. Help me.
What would happen to the nipples if a grown lion had to go, decided he needed to go and have a drink, from mom's teeth? Like, oh, sorry, Mom, I didn't mean to take that nipple off again.
Yeah, well, like human animals, stop that shit because the baby starts chomping on them.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, that's the thing. That's the issue there. But we're the only animal that has decided to package it and process it and preserve it. Nobody else is carrying around fucking water jugs full of milk or whatever. That's I think a little far. I don't know. I feel like I've talked about it. I know, but I've talked about this before. It's like, why don't humans drink human milk when we're adults?
Human milk? What? Wait, what? What are you talking about?
I thought of doing that.
I tried to get Joe to taste it, but
human milk. Wait. Let me.
Why is it gross? We literally are.
What are we talking about? How?
You were not born drinking the milk of a cow. You were born drinking the milk of
breast milk. You say, okay,
yeah,
that's
human milk. I'm like, the milk of a person that was allergic
here. I'm like, I'm kind of stoned. Wait a minute, human milk? What are you talking? Human milk? That don't sound right.
We don't have a cow. We have a bull.
Have fun milking that bull.
I milked your the line is I milked your I got up early, I milked your cow. We don't have a cow. We got a bull. He's got the big bucket of never mind.
Gross. That's nasty.
That was from a movie.
Well, thanks for having me up. I gotta go.
Yeah, I'm trying to wrap it up too. Thank you, Elisa, for coming up.
I'm getting up out of here myself. Kids, much love. Y'all see y'all next week.
Yep. See you later, Neb. Everybody follow Neb. Check out his music on YouTube. I followed you.
All right,
that's
why I was laughing earlier. KIG. I'm missing the end. I'm stoned. Leave me alone.
When you said that, I was like, "What the fuck is he talking about, man?"
Right.
I didn't spell it wrong. I'm looking at it right now. I'm looking in the bar of me searching for your shit. Anyway, you guys have a good night. We'll see you on Sunday for the Indoor Farmer Game Night. Peace out, guys. Have a good weekend. Be safe and all that jazz. Hit the like button if you haven't yet already. Follow the channel. Go sign up on Locals this weekend and check it out. It's free to check it out. Free to sign up. Get there. Be there. And we'll see you later. Peace out.
Yeah, this is for my green thumbs in the game. Wailing the indoor farmer, check my name. Sustainability, we about to reclaim. This is how we do it, keep it in the frame. I'm Waylon the farmer, the indoor king. Living off the grid, what the city can't bring. Got my hydro setup, my LED lights. Growing all my greens, all through the night. Self-sustain, that's the mission. Growing my own, I'm not missing. Indoor farming, the hustle's real. Waylon's here, and